We're vamping, yeah.
Yeah, we really wrapped. I guess Mary Fallon and Todd Lamb will be here to give the commencement address. And how did you guys come to that decision, and when?
Well, working the schedules out was kind of a challenge. One of the things that makes our commencement speech kind of a challenge is that we run three ceremonies.
Yeah.
The kind of the common practice, and the practice when I was here actually, was that you had one major ceremony, usually in the stadium, and you'd have some speaker, but you didn't actually receive a diploma. Well, you still don't actually receive a diploma. Don't get disappointed when you get there. You're getting the cover, and we'll send you the diploma.
If I'm paid up and everything.
If everything's cool. If everything's cool, that's right. And so finding a speaker who will stay for all three speeches is a real challenge. And so we tried another idea of just not having a commencement speaker, that I sort of gave a mini
I went to that one. My wife graduated.
speech. Yeah, but and then we had the video. But the problem with the video is that in Gallagher-Iba, the sound system is just not very good, and so people can't really follow it. The boards are too small, which we want to fix someday. But that's just kind of the way it is, and so that wasn't a good solution. And so we're back to and so we have the first woman governor in the history of Oklahoma. She happens to be an OSU grad, but that is also the day of the Republican state convention, and so she can't do more than just the morning speech.
Yeah.
But the vice president, the lieutenant governor, is also an OSU grad, Todd Lamb, and has agreed to do the other two. So that's great. Now, personally, I've looked into going back to the old system, and it's funny. I've gotten the feedback. We've done surveys on this, and the surveys seem to indicate that people really like to get a diploma, and families really like to hear their name called.
Yeah.
And they kind of like having a commencement speaker, even though I'm not sure everybody listens. So we're trying to accommodate that, and so this I think we're lucky this year because we found two great speakers that have good connections with OSU and are kind of historic in their offices.
Now, a few years ago, we got President George W. Bush.
Right. I was involved.
We didn't get President Obama.
No.
Tyler's pretty disappointed, if we have to be honest with you.
Yeah, we did not.
Well, I only graduated once, and I waited 7 years.
Yeah, you could have done it when Bush was president, I guess.
But we did get a first, and that's the first woman governor. So that's something certainly that will be memorable. So on to the MSNBC thing, which is why your file is so small. How long has that been in the works? Bringing
Not all
Steel
that
on
long.
Wheels and
Not all that long. I'd say within the month.
Yeah, it's within a month. It's been about three weeks. So.
They originally contacted Boone Pickens' office about the idea, and then we. I don't even know if they knew that we were a CNG, all CNG bus campus when they called. I think they were just calling Mr. Pickens because of Pickens' plan and all that, but I think he then helped steer it to OSU.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the way that worked?
Yeah, I think so.
and this is kind of a question for both Governor Fallon and the MSNBC. How much are we paying either of those to come here, or is it they're just doing it?
Yeah, doing it for the school, for their alma mater.
Well, not MSNBC though.
Oh, they're not. We're not paying MSNBC.
Okay, so they're shooting it live. And,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And we're not paying the governor or the lieutenant governor. I think he thought you meant commencement. So.
Oh,
yeah, I was meaning both because I forgot to ask that for.
Is the governor coming up tomorrow?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
So is that common that commencements aren't paid, or in some cases are they?
I don't remember. Well, first of all, I gave one a few years ago, and I didn't get paid.
You didn't take any money?
No, I wasn't offered any money either. But it's not uncommon for speakers to be paid, and a lot.
Yeah.
They're paid a lot, and that's another part of the kind of equation. Is that really a good use of the money? Because if you're lucky enough to have somebody that's on the national stage that'll just come here because they like you, or they have like Boone Pickens.
Yeah.
That he likes OSU, obviously. Well, he loves OSU, and so he gave the commencement speech here. And in the case of George W. Bush, we actually did, I think, have expenses associated with that. He didn't get any money, but
Yeah.
when the president comes to visit like that, there's cost, helicopter security.
Cheese fries.
Cheese fries, yeah.
I had to take a rest. Yes.
I was actually the chairman of the Board of Regents when that happened. And I got called early on by J.C. Watts, who was a congressman from Oklahoma.
OU football player.
OU football player, but he called us to host George Bush for commencement. And it was very preliminary. I think the story is he was talking to Karl Rove, and they were interested in coming to Oklahoma, and JC suggested this. I don't know whether he suggested OU or not, and called me about it because he and I had been friends for years, and I said, yeah, that'd be great. So that's what happened. And I'd love to have President Obama. I'd love any president.
I was right
of the
across
States.
the street when they took off after the commencement. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Well,
and
they
the
ushered us
helicopters.
behind that convenience store there.
I watched from an overpass, watched this plane land in Enid.
Did you?
Yeah, it's the biggest thing I've ever seen.
It's a
in my
pretty,
life.
yeah.
It's a big airplane.
You realize
That thing
it's a
was
pretty big
huge.
deal. So
Yeah, it's a
But,
thrill to get on Air Force One.
So last week, and I don't know if you read the Ocala, but surely this
Sure.
has come across your desk. There were a couple members of the OSU family that died. One in a car accident,
Right.
one in a motorcycle accident. Have you reached out to Kylie Job's family or Travis Flood's? And
Yeah, I have not reached Travis Flood's family. I have Kylie Job's, and I actually have known Kylie Job's mom for years, and when she was trying to persuade Kylie to come to OSU, she brought her by to see me. Barbie's their mother, Barbie Job, worked for Governor Keating. And but I do always try to call and write notes when that happens. Fortunately, it hadn't happened very often. But
so this has
It's a
kind of been
terrible-
a tough week for you as
yeah,
well.
I was actually trying to go to the services, and things didn't work out. But
Do you plan to attend the candlelight vigil at Theta Pond? I know there's a lot of people that will be going there.
is that tonight?
It's
Tomorrow
Thursday.
evening.
Tomorrow evening? Yeah,
9:30, I believe.
yeah.
And check the Ocala, we'll run something.
Yeah,
We don't plug
I still,
ourselves.
I still don't know any of the details of that, but that particular one where the guy's driving down the wrong way I assume on an interstate. They were
Yeah.
coming through Hayes.
I-70?
Yeah, it's I-70, and I don't know how you end up on the wrong side of an interstate.
Yeah, we've been checking, and I haven't seen any reports of whether the other gentleman, had alcohol content in his blood.
It's
but
2 in the morning, and
Yeah, I think that's the initial conclusion that people would draw from it,
Mhm.
unfortunately.
And but Kylie was just a delight. She was really a very happy and sunshiny kind of person. It's really, really sad. I'm sure that I've only talked by voicemail to the family, and as I say, I haven't reached the other students folks.
Now, Steve McKeever, I know Fallon tabbed him to be on her staff. Is he?
Well, on the cabinet, Secretary
the
of
cabinet.
Technology.
So has he been replaced, or is he still working at
No,
OSU?
that's not a full-time job. That's.
Because I saw the other day that we have a new VP for research and technology transfer, Stephen Wood.
Well, that's a little different.
Separate position.
Yeah, we've created an entity called Cowboy Technologies.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Technologies is going to provide seed funding for our scientists who are, and students for that matter, who are developing ideas that might be commercialized. So Cowboy Technologies has been funded to do that, and so we'll have. In fact, I'm just coming from a meeting on that very subject, and I think it'll be a great thing for our faculty and students, and potentially could result in some royalty income to OSU.
Make us a little more famous as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, Steve is still Vice President of Science and Technology. Steve Wood, you got to be named Steve to be in this area.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. They
Yes,
like the
Steve
Steves.
Wood he's going to be the CEO of Cowboy Technologies.
Okay.
He's kind of he's a serial entrepreneur, and he's taken on that task.
And we
yeah.
actually had another member of the cabinet, Gary Scher,
Yeah, Gary Shear is,
Secretary of,
I can't remember.
but he's
It's not
also,
agriculture, but
right,
but-
he's also an OSU employee.
that's also, the secretary positions are not paid
Yeah.
in the governor's cabinet.
I just didn't know how much time he would have to spend there if
I don't think
because
he's,
the positions look similar, and I didn't do enough reading
Right.
on them, so sorry about that.
it's all right.
A few more questions. I know Sports and Photo have some questions for you as well. I know last time Amanda asked you guys about the child care center. You said you'd check into it, and have there been any developments with it?
Yeah, we put it out to bid. We've gotten a bid, and we're in negotiations right now for what I'll call a solution to that issue.
Is it going to be a physical building, or is that solution
I
going
don't.
off campus?
It's all in negotiations right now, but I don't think it'll initially be that. I think but it will be. There will be an affordable solution available to our faculty and staff. I think it's a really important function for us. I mean, I think it helps recruit faculty, young faculty especially, and I know it benefits people that have kids.
Yeah.
And not everybody has kids or has young kids. But I do think it's just good for the overall university. So we're trying. I think we'll get something done here.
Well, over at the graduate and family housing over by the FRC, I know that they have about 250 to 300 kids of students. The students there have children, because most of them are older, non-traditional students. Many, I've heard, anywhere from 75 to 80% are international students over there. And so I know it's an issue for students as well as faculty and staff. And the FRC, I was told last semester, could only serve 100 kids, and that's not in childcare, that's in hourly programming throughout the day. And I think it was 2004 that there was a bid for $500,000 to expand it and be able to serve twice as many students. And it got pulled because the donor backed out, apparently. And my question is, are we ever going to look at expanding the FRC so maybe they can provide some daycare? Because I know we've spent, FRC is under Res Life, and we've spent $200 million on new construction through Res Life, but it seems like that area is a little bit.
Of course, all that $200 million is funded with rent on the apartments and dorms.
Yeah.
This childcare is. I think childcare would be too expensive if it was enough to service a bond for a facility like that. So I think we need to leverage partnerships with others in town initially, and we'll just kind of see how it goes from there. You're exactly right about that international though, because from the Wilhelm House, as I come to work down in Washington, I go past Will Rogers School, of course, and there's all kinds of kids walking to school, and their
Diverse
parents
playground,
walking the
yeah.
kids, and I'd say certainly the majority of them are international kids.
And I mean, they pay rent on apartments and dorms too, and that's another thing that I was going to ask on top of the daycare, is there a plan to construct new dorms or new suites for international students or graduate and family students? Because I think those are some of the oldest on campus. Maybe you count Kurt Drummond and Wentz in among those. I know it's important to provide, various cost options.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it seems like we've expanded. I used to live at Wentz, and I've been here long enough that I saw Willem North and South torn down.
I lived in Wilhelm South.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, my first semester.
Awesome. I mean, you were getting the wrecking ball in the mornings, but
Right.
so I guess the question is, are we ever planning on getting some nicer things for the international students? Because I know, they might not be athletes, but they do go on to get good degrees and are very
Well,
successful.
the
in
athletes
business.
live the same place as everybody else lives. So it's, but I
Or
mean, we
any
want
other
to,
student.
we want to improve the quality of everybody's housing. I mean, we have problems in the existing dorms that don't have anything to do with married student housing. So, it's just a constant upgrading that's necessary. With the way enrollment is growing, we're not too far away from having to figure out some new solutions for residents. But for everybody, I mean,
Yeah.
because it's really growing.